Oscar nominee John Spaihts. And three-time Oscar-nominated director, writer, and producer of Dune Part 2, Denis Villeneuve. So, gentlemen, it has been notoriously said that Frank Herbert's classic novel is unadaptable. What do you say to that?
It's almost true.
No, but we made, John and I made some bold choice on the page that allowed us to, and technically, if we had adapted the novel as it is, we would not be here. It would be dead by now. It's like, it is unadaptable.
Yeah, it was necessary to make choices and to leave behind things that we, as deep fans of the novel, love desperately in order to tell a strand of story that can fit into two epic films. And even that was hard work.
Talk about getting to the landing of its ending and making it something that spoke to today's world.
Frank Herbert himself made a tremendous adjustment in his fictional world around the ending of Dune. He always intended the book as a cautionary tale about messiahs, about charismatic leaders, about the dangers of blending politics and religion. But the ending of Dune, as it was first written, was interpreted by some as a kind of white savior story. It's patriarchal. And he had regret about that, so much so that he wrote an entire book to correct course in Dune Messiah. And our way forward into the book and to handle the ending of Dune was to be informed by his own course correction and the light that he shed on his own work.
Now, I remember with the production of the first film, you shot in Jordan, you returned there, but it was, you could not shoot during the day. You had to shoot in the early morning or overnight. Can you talk about more of the hurdles you faced, or were there none? Was this an easier walk than part?
Oh, no, it was much more ambitious and more difficult. We learned a lot by doing part one. We could say that part one was almost like a massive rehearsal for the second one. I mean, we learned so much. It's true that when we shot in Jordan, we shot also in Abu Dhabi. And in Abu Dhabi, when we went there for the first time, it was at the second period of the year. We were aware of that. We were going there for the mornings and evenings. During the time it was too hot. When we went back there, we had to shoot for a lot of weeks, a few months there. So we went to another season where it was a tiny bit cooler. But it's shooting in the desert is don't try this at home. It's intense. It's incredibly inspiring and rewarding. I mean, I cannot complain. I'm the sole responsible for that. But it's taxing on the crew. Definitely, it's a difficulty.
What was magical about Jordan? Because it's not only your film, but Force Awakens has been shot there. Is it just this breathtaking?
It's where they shot. That's where the birth of the story of Lawrence of Arabia. That's where David Lean shot Lawrence of Arabia, and it's that story inspired Frank Herbert. Was one of the stories that inspired Frank Herbert to write Dune. So it made it. And I had shot there previously myself a feature film where I remember in 2009 when I was scouting there, I was saying to myself, if ever I do a sci-fi movie like Dune, that needs to happen here, because the rock formation there are from out of this world. It's really impressive, and it offered us a tremendous dramatic landscape that were perfect for the movie. It is Arrakis, that place on Earth.
And how many days were you in the desert this time versus, say, the production of the first film?
I think that in the first film, we went in the desert like maybe the fifth of the shoot, and there we were half of the shoot. I mean, it's like many weeks. Yeah.
And we can't ignore Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. What is it about them? To talk about their chemistry, talk about the best two stars. Like, what a great couple.
Yeah, the thing is that what is beautiful when you work with they met each other in part one briefly, and then spontaneously they became friends. And as we did the promotional tour, their relationship became, let's say, deeper, meaning they close friends. And for me, it was a tremendous help, of course, because John and I had structured the whole story on their relationship through the birth of the love between Paul and Shani, then the struggle of this love with the pressure from the outside, from the politics, and then the break, so all that I need. So it was all about the chemistry between what you're talking about between them. That I had put all my chips on that, and so it was crucial that to capture that on screen and bring that chemistry on camera.
Going way back, did you chemistry read them, or no? Separately, you knew they would.
I did some test with both of them just to see the Timothy and we had met Zendaya. We did some camera tests, not to test her skills, of course, but she's a tremendous actress. But at the time, I needed to know her. I wanted to see how we could establish that together and how Timothy was feeling, and it was like a fantastic experience.
So new to this is Austin Butler as Fade Rava. He plays a rather ruthless guy. And we're so used, I mean, we've seen Austin largely be Elvis on and off camera, and then he shows up in this, and you don't want to cross him in an alley. And I'm just curious, how did you get him so evil? How did he make himself so evil? Did you know? Like, I never knew Elvis could go that distant.
You should ask him. I mean, it was quite Fred wrote, those are big shoes to fill.
Played by Sting in the David Lynch.
Yeah, we all remember you don't remember? The jockstrap? No, thank you. No, Austin did an incredible job to go back in that psychotic mode, that sexy psychotic mode where it's a cross mix between Mick Jagger and a sociopath killer. And he took tremendous pleasure going there, and it was like we did a rehearsal together about the movement, almost like a dancer, how to find a character through movement, because I don't think Austin is a psychopath. I'm not. So to reach that level, to go there, we had to experiment, do laboratories with movement.
So you're doing Dune 3, even if you don't want to. No, I want you to do Dune 3. My question to you is, when did you know that there should be a third part?
Well, the thing is, when I decided to embark on this journey, one of the first things I said is that there's too much material, and John agreed on that. There's too much material for one movie, for this first book. There's 2 movies there, and everybody agreed on that quickly. And I said to myself that I was seeing this as a diptych. It was really 2 movies, and there will be a possibility of a third act, or a third installment where it will be finalized, the curve of the dramatic arc of Paul Atreides, but it will be different. It will be a total different object. So I don't see this as a trilogy, but I always felt that it will be a great idea to finish that story, a bit for the reason that John mentioned earlier, to make sure that the ideas that Frank Herbert, his initial desires, will absolutely be fulfilled on screen.
And then if the sequel deals with faith in the face of politics, how does it juxtapose itself to the first film thematically?
We move, as we go from part 1 to part 2, between worlds. We follow closely the journey of Paul Atreides, and he leaves behind the world of the Imperium, the colonizers, the imperial resource extraction structure of the galaxy, and we immerse ourselves in a thousands of year old culture embedded deep in the deserts of Arrakis and sustained against unimaginable hardships of daily life by a faith, a brutal, practical religion that maintains the iron backbone of the tribe, that teaches survival techniques and a way of life to every person. Religion in this context is total. It's survival, it's adaptation, it's a rule book and a law book and a guidebook for living in this impossible place. And the only way that Paul can mold himself into a creature that can live on Arrakis is to wrap his head around that faith, around those laws of the desert. He must adapt or die. And that is what the whole film is about. He goes into it a pauper, a prince without treasure, without palace, without an army. And in the desert, he finds his bearings and comes out in the end playing a game of chess against the emperor himself.